Hey guys, LA Showstack here. Hope you are doing well. Today is going to be a fun training for you. Okay? So, as many of you know, I work with singles and those who are divorced, and often we find that we are dating people and we're unclear. We're unsure if they are nice, if they are mean, if they are just not good people, right? So, what we need to do, okay, is we need to understand that yes, we can accept what other people think about us to an extent, right? But there is a test that I have actually used about myself to test what it is that others think about me. And here's how the test goes, okay? So since we wind up judging ourselves often by the way that the way that others think about us, the test that I use to see if somebody is an a-hole or if I myself am acting like an a-hole is I go ahead and I take a look at the way that others react to someone when they leave a room. This is the test. And by the way, this test will change your life because it'll help you determine about other people and it'll also help you determine about yourself. So there's another part to the test in a few minutes, but this is the first part, part A. Okay, so if you're ready, take out your pencils and start writing down. Okay, I just have to sip of my coffee. You're sitting with your date and you're out in a restaurant and he talks or she talks to the waitress. And the way that you can tell whether or not a person is an a-hole is when that waitress or waiter walks away from the table and they roll their eyes. Okay, now you can't always see it, so sometimes you have to be on the lookout. And there's a second part to the test which will definitely clarify if this person is an a-hole and if you are an a-hole. I'll get to that in a minute. This is just kind of one-on-one stuff on dates, okay? So you'll go ahead and you'll see the person roll their eyes or even curse under their breath, right? That means that the way the person is acting towards this other is like an a-hole. Now, this doesn't mean that this person has totally been classified as an a-hole. We have some more work to do on that. Okay, that's part one. When you see the way that they speak to somebody in a restaurant, it's very good indicator as to should you continue with your testing. Okay, so now this test that I've come up with is not scientific. It hasn't been tested by scientists over the years. This is just something that I use, which has helped me a lot in many areas of my life. Okay, so the next test that you want to see is if you're in a group or a room full of people and people are acting, I would say, inauthentic, right? They're afraid that if they say something, they're going to get made fun of by this person, or they're afraid that if they are fully themselves, then they're worried what this person will think. Watch the faces of everybody in the group when this person leaves the table. If the majority of people, if one person, this is clear, okay? This is clear indicator. If one person under their breath goes, oh, a-hole, then you know, okay? But if people begin to roll their eyes like, thank God she left the table, or thank God he left the table, right? Or thank heavens, I don't have to be in this room with this person again. Then you have a very, step one is one-on-one, people rolling their eyes or people moaning, right, under their breath. Step two is they'll go ahead and in a group, when that person leaves the room, people either begin to sigh relief that they do not have to interact with this person anymore, or they'll go ahead and they'll just feel a lot more authentic. They're able to be themselves, okay? So this is the way to determine if somebody is an a-hole, okay? It's very simple, it's very clear. Now, this does not mean that if this happens once or if this person is having an off day, right, and they didn't get a lot of sleep and they're just like snippy with the waiter or they had a bad day at work and they just were not nice for a day. I like to look things in as percentages, right? So if my percentage is that 75% of the interactions that they have with me and other people are nice and pleasant, fantastic. But if the percentage is, because we all have the 25% where we don't sleep well, or we don't have a coffee, you know, we've gone through a traumatic experience, we have the right to act like an a-hole, right? But what we want to do is we want to give you the tools to determine if this is a full-blown a-hole, okay? And that would mean if a person is 75% in the realm where the majority of times they will treat others as if they're dirt or garbage, or that they're higher. It's not so clear, by the way, because most people don't come right out and go like, I'm better than you and you're nothing, although some people do, okay? I actually like dealing with those people better, even though they are a-holes, but at least I know where they stand. The worst type of an a-hole is the one that doesn't know or think that they are an a-hole, and 75% of the time they act better than everybody else, and probably because they have low self-esteem or insecurities on the inside, but we can get into that some other time. Right now we just need to determine real quick, a-hole, no a-hole. So if 75% of the time they leave a group and people roll their eyes and want to have nothing to do with this person, then you've got it, okay? It's clear. Now we get even deeper, okay? So we've been able to determine if another person is an asshole. What about yourself, right? So you can do this test on yourself, right? When you walk away from a room or a table, just listen. Are people going, oh. That's a little bit of the crickets. That's a little bit of the crickets of the a-hole test, right? That's a little bit of like, oh, they're sighing relief that they no longer have to deal with you, right? When you leave a date, right? Like if you get up in the middle of a restaurant and you go to the restroom, just quickly glance over at the person next to you, just to take a look. Are they rolling their eyes, right? Oh God. You could also do that throughout the date. Are they rolling their eyes? Now, again, I am not a fan of caring about what others think, okay? Because we have to live for ourselves. We have to live our own lives. We have to do our own thing. We have to go ahead and be ourselves. And yes, 100% to an extent. But, right? That's what this topic is all about. But if the majority of people in your life, when you leave a room, sigh relief or even mutter the word asshole under their breath, oh, asshole. Or like, oh God, oh God, oh God, right? Any head rolls or any shaking, just take a peek back into the room. Very good to tell if you're an asshole in group settings. Very, very good to tell. Excellent to tell about another, right? Because especially when you're, but in the one-on-one situation, it's a little bit more difficult. But you can begin to tell if your person that you're dating is an a-hole by the way that they go ahead and treat other people and you. Okay? And again, we like to deal with percentages. If the 75% is good and they always, not always, but they're acting in a way that is nice and treats people with respect, superb. But if you find that the majority of times that they interact with other people and that you're rolling your eyes often, you're sighing like, oh God, like thank God, okay, then that's the sign. So now we got a bigger question, okay? So I spent the past 10 minutes discussing how to tell if the person you're dating is an a-hole, how to tell if you yourself are an a-hole. Now what we need to do is do something about this, okay? There are people that are watching this video right now that do not know that the people around them view them as being an a-hole. They don't. They have no clue. This is how they act. This is how they interact with the world. This is how they date. This is how they treat people. This is how they will go about their business. And they're actually, even if you make them semi-aware that they're acting like an a-hole, they kind of either don't get it, which to you just proves your point even more that they are an a-hole, or they can't comprehend what you're saying because you're talking normal and they live in the land of the a-holes. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you try to explain to somebody who treats people inappropriately, or not inappropriately, but mistreats people in your eyes, and you start to explain, well, you're saying this, you're saying that, when you do this, it makes people feel like this, and they either don't care about what you're saying or they have no clue how to interpret that, then you are dating an a-hole and you are with an a-hole. Okay? Now, the question is how to not be an a-hole yourself and what to do about it, because that's the only question that you have to answer. Okay? You can't control anybody. You can't control anybody. You're going to date plenty of people and you're going to one day be in a long-term relationship, and you will begin to see that the way the person is interacting with you, there are things about it that you don't like, which is normal because you're dealing with other people, okay? So here's what I'm trying to explain. You need to make a decision in your life that says the following: when I die, okay, when I die, and I don't know when that will be, at the funeral, if you have one, will the people be answering that question that I asked you? Was this person an a-hole? Now, if in fact you're cool with them saying in other words, like, let's say you've decided, this is me, I really couldn't give a crap what other people think, which is fine, I get it, and I don't really care how I come off to people. This is me, right? This is me. Hear me roar, man. F you. I don't give a crap about telling me about feelings and schmeelings. If that's you, fantastic. If you are comfortable with that result, because that's the end game, right? We all know the end game here. The end game is either a casket or cremation, right? That's the end game. So, and then we can come up with all the theories of the soul moving on. Is there a soul? I don't know. Right? Let's just deal with the facts. It's either going to be in a casket or it's going to be cremated. Okay? Let's see what's calling me now. So what you want to do is you want to say, am I comfortable with ending up being known as that? That throughout my life, when people left a room that I was in, they all coughed under their breath, a-hole, or they all muttered, a-hole, or they all sighed relief because thank God I no longer have to deal with this person. And you're cool with that. then fantastic. You've made your decision. Okay. And by the way, the majority of a-holes have no idea that they are and never will, and they'll live and die like that. That's just the way they are. And it's fine. I'm not even judging them, good, bad. I just want to give you facts of how you can be helped, especially in the dating world, which I'm going to get into right now. So a question that I get asked often by singles and by those who are divorced is, how do I not attract a-holes? Or why am I attracted to a-holes? Why do I keep stepping into shit in my relationships? Okay. So what we wind up doing is we wind up putting the question on others, right? We don't know how the others act. We don't know. What we need to do is we need to ask ourselves the question, am I an a-hole? So go to the end of days, ask yourself the question, when my funeral is held, what are people going to say and think about me? So I know, because I've made a decision, I've made a conscious decision that I don't know when my last moment is going to be on this earth. I have no clue. I have no idea. But I do know that for the majority of my life, I live in the realm of the 75 to 80% nice person. I know it. There are people that will think of me as an a-hole, but I don't really care, because I know that the 80% and the 80% of the way that I behave will say I was a nice guy. Some might say funny, fine. Good dad, good husband, good father, good friend, funny, nice. That's all I really care about. Just nice. And the reason why is because that's something I value. I value that level. I value being nice. Okay, that's what they'll say. And I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. Not from an egotistical perspective of like, oh, see, I'm the nicest in the world, everyone thinks great of it. No, I just know that I have the a-hole test in my brain. When I interact with somebody, I say to myself, am I going to increase happiness? Am I going to increase sadness? Or if I'm not sure, I do nothing. So I will err on the side of increase happiness, or if I'm not sure, do nothing, or definitely not increase sadness or pain. So the more that I ask myself that question, and the more that I do on the side of the nice side, the more I'm going to end up with results of people thinking positively of me. Again, not that I care, but I'm looking at the end game and I'm looking at that result. When you're in the dating world, instead of taking the focus on why am I attracting these a-holes, or why are they an a-hole, why are all these people a-holes, you need to ask yourself the question, am I an a-hole? Again, if you're comfortable with the answer that the 75% of people you interact with sigh when you leave a room and roll their eyes, and you're cool with that, great. That's your end game result. And that's how you will continue to attract others who are similar, right? Because people like similar things to them, right? You want to spend time with friends who are similar to you, right? Because there's a comfort zone. It takes a very strong person to take a look at their interactions with the world, and especially in group settings, and say, when I leave a room, do people sigh relief that they no longer have to interact with me? That's the test. Okay, it's not scientific at all, but I'm telling you it works. Because you can do it right now about anyone in your life. I am telling you right now, if you just for a moment think to a group setting or a dating setting where somebody leaves your presence and your immediate thought is, oh, asshole. Am I right? Give me a thumbs up if I'm right, okay? Because I know that there's somebody in your life right now that you think that about. Now, if that's the case, then without a doubt, you can ask yourself that question. And the way to turn it around is, again, If you're happy with the end result, that's what you'll be known as, cool. I'm totally fine with it. I really am. I promise. It's not like as if I'm judging it as being better or worse, or, you know, they lived like an a-hole, they died like an a-hole. Some people, that's their thing. It's totally cool. I get it. This is how you view the world. And to them, by the way, they might not even think that. They might think that they're like, you know, Gandhi, okay, that they're Mother Teresa, and they might think that. Right? They might give charity, and who cares if they mistreat the waiter or the waitress, or who cares that they're hell to interact with in the home. That doesn't matter to them, and that's fine. No judgment. But if you want to get the results of dating people and relating to people and keeping a relationship, which is one that is filled with health, which is one that is filled with kindness, which is one that is filled with expression of who you are, and acceptance for who you are, then you need to be the change that you want to see in the world. Speaking of Gandhi, you need to be the change that you want to see in the world. And if you want to stop attracting a-holes, then you need to ask yourself that question in your interactions, especially in dating. Am I increasing happiness? Am I increasing sadness in the way that I'm interacting? Or if I'm not sure, am I just doing nothing? And often the advice that I give to my clients who are in the Find the Right One coaching program is just that, which is, if you are not sure whether or not you want to answer a question to a date or to a friend who's asking you about your love life, and inside you, you want to give that person the finger and you want to curse them out. Again, only if you want to increase happiness or set. I'm not telling you to go, that's awesome. I love when you ask me about my personal life. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I totally want to share with an acquaintance how many times I've had sex this week. Oh, 100%. Yeah. No. Please go ask me more personal questions. No, I'm not telling you to do that because that's idiotic. Okay? What I am telling you to do is nothing. That's the best. Now, they might think that you have some type of disability in the head, or you might not know how to speak English. It's absolutely fine because it doesn't matter. This is a confidence builder for you. And you're answering the question of, am I an a-hole? And believe me, my friend, you are not. So again, if that's what you want to be and if that's what you want to attract. So I think I've been pretty clear on how to determine if somebody is one, how to determine if you are, how to ask yourself the final question, which will frame your present moment that you're in now, which is, am I interacting with the world in the way that I want to attract somebody in a relationship with me, right? And then what I want to share with you is this concept of what you give is what you get, okay? What you put out into the world is what is going to come back to you, right? So I work with clients all over the world, and I will do anything to provide them with value, because once you invest in my program, you're mine. Okay, not mine in the controlling sense, but you've invested in me. I am investing in you, right? So when I have clients reach out to me unsolicited, telling me that my program is changing their lives and they're able to feel love for themselves and know how to get into a healthy relationship and actually be in a healthy relationship because of my program, and I'm not asking them for this, they're giving me this feedback unsolicited, it's because I've made a conscious effort to put out goodness into the world. Similarly, going back to my test, if you put out feces into the world, then that is what will come back to you. It's nature. It's nature, right? If you feed a plant and you put the water in the plant the way that it's supposed to do, then the plant will grow. you're giving something that it needs, it's going to grow. If you take your foot and you stamp on the plant, then you are destroying that plant. Okay? So what I have done is created a program for singles that helps them find, date, and keep the right one. And what I'm doing for this holiday season is I am creating a special called What You Give is What You Get. And I am going to be offering my program for $1,200 off the full price for anyone that joins in the next 2 weeks. And in addition to that, anyone who joins in the next 2 weeks, I will make a personal donation from my own money for $100 to any Ronald McDonald House of that person's choice, anywhere in the world, anywhere near them, in their honor. That's what I want to do, because I have volunteered at Ronald McDonald Houses. I have seen people, their lives uprooted of having to take a sick family member to a hospital, having no place to stay, having no food, having no, and here you have a home and you're treated just like we mentioned before, with that respect and with that kindness. And that's what I want to put out in the world. So I'm going to drop that link below. I see a lot of people like my test. And I am truly, truly honored to have been able to share this with you, because if it can help one person increase their chances for a successful, healthy love relationship, then I did what I was put here to do, so to speak. It provides me with a lot of meaning. So have an awesome day, my friends. And if you have any questions, go ahead and message me. And if you're interested in the program, go ahead and message me as well. Bye.